My name is Kelly Anderson. I'm a 5th degree black belt in Nick Cerio's Kenpo karate, having successfully competed worldwide in forms, weapons and fighting. I am also an instructor for the Nick Cerio's Kenpo karate system. This tape is the third in the 3-volume series of Professor Nick Cerio's self-defense videotapes. The 12 techniques you are about to see are geared toward the more advanced martial artist. We will also be demonstrating several multiple attack situations. In order to more easily follow the techniques, we will show one sequence at normal speed, followed by several in slow motion. We feel confident that this video will prove to be a useful learning tool in your pursuit of the martial arts. Please be sure to pick up other videos in this series on empty hand and weapon forms. Defense against a punch, tiger's mouth. Step away from the attack with your right leg and block outward with your left hand. Follow with a right vertical punch to the lower abdominal area with the right hand. And a left uppercut to the solar plexus area. Finish your attacker with a right tiger mouth strike to the throat. And cover. Note here that your left hand block is on the opponent's forearm area. Drive the vertical punch in using your whole body, pulling your left hip back. Keep your left hand in position to protect your face. Using your left hip now for power, drive the left hand into the solar plexus area. Strike with the part of the hand between the fingers and the thumb. Defense against a double punch, returning sword. Step away from the attack with your left leg and execute a right outward block. Follow with the left outward block. Using a right roundhouse elbow to the jaw. Whip your body back and strike the attacker to the throat or jaw area with a knife hand strike. Note that the block is executed to the attacker's forearm. This block can also be used as a strike. We use the same block on the other side. Whip the body round Strike to the attacker's jaw area with your elbow. The knife hand attack is directed towards his neck or jaw area depending on the position of your attacker. Defense against a punch, spinning crane. Step away from the attack and execute a right outward block or double block. Follow with a right instep kick to the groin. Keeping your leg up, execute a jumping inside crescent kick to the head area. A spinning outside crescent kick. And finish attacker off with a palm heel strike to the groin. Step away and execute a double block, your first block being an inward block with the left hand. Follow up with an outward block or knife hand strike to attacker's forearm. Follow with an instep kick to the groin. A jump inside crescent kick and a spinning outside crescent kick. Note that the strike is done with the heel part of the foot. When doing the palm heel strike, make sure you draw the fingers back to avoid injury. Defense against a punch. Tiger whips his tail. As your attacker steps in with a punch, move away to give yourself enough room and execute a double forearm block. Follow with a spinning hook kick to the head or jaw area. Execute a right roundhouse kick to the sternum or rib area. Finish attacker with a tiger mouth strike to the throat. Note the position of the knee. That's an optional groin strike. This block can also be used as a strike to attacker's forearm. Draw your foot back. Make sure you get your knee up. In practice, we use the ball of the foot, but in real life, we use the heel. Make sure you draw your toes back to avoid injury. Use the part between the fingers and the thumb. Defense against a choke, ripping panther. Left hand controls the attacker as you execute a right vertical punch to the throat. Follow with a circular wrist grab, an inward forearm strike which acts as a takedown. Execute a right ridge hand strike to the throat. Finish attacker off with a neck break, ripping across his face at the same time. As your attacker steps in for the choke, control him with your left hand and execute a right vertical punch to the throat, concentrating your power on the two strong knuckles. Note that you control the attacker, pinning his hand to your body. Circular wrist grab, drawing the left hand back for the strike and takedown. The strike is done to the upper shoulder area. Slide your body in and execute a right ridge hand strike to the throat. Make sure you tuck your thumb in. Strike to the face. Neck break. At the same time, claw attacker's face. Defense against choke, driving ram. As attacker steps in for the choke, execute a double upward palm to the elbows. Follow up with a double uppercut to the floating rib area. Execute a double palm heel strike to the eardrums. And finish attacker off with an upward elbow strike to the sternum or solar plexus area. As your attacker steps forward for the choke, step back to position yourself and maintain good balance. Execute double palm heel strike to the elbows to release the choke. Draw your hands back. Execute a double uppercut to the floating rib area. Again, drawing your hands back, cup your hands, and double strike to the ears. Upward elbow strike to the sternum or solar plexus area depending on the position of your attacker. And cover. Defense against the choke, mountain cat. As your attacker steps in for the choke, control him with your left hand and execute a right vertical punch to the solar plexus. Slide your hand up to grab his shoulder and execute a right roundhouse knee to the floating rib area. Follow with a left roundhouse kick to the side of the head or temple area. And finish attacker with a turning side kick to the chest or throat area. As your attacker steps in, step back to ensure balance. Control attacker with your left hand and execute a right vertical punch to the solar plexus. Slide your right hand up. Execute a right roundhouse knee to the floating rib area. Note that you use your attacker for balance. Step back, execute a left roundhouse kick to the neck or head area. Turn, finish attacker off with a right side thrust kick to the throat or chest area. Focus your power on the heel or the side of the foot. And cover. Defense against the choke, raging bull. As your attacker steps in for the choke, control your attacker with your right hand and execute a left vertical punch to the solar plexus area. Draw both your hands back towards his hands to effect a release. Slide in and follow up with a double body punch to the floating rib area. Slide in and repeat the movement. Draw the right knee up for a front thrust kick to the sternum and follow with a side thrust kick to the body. Execute a left uppercut to the solar plexus. Make sure you control the opponent with the right hand by pinning his hand to your body. Draw both hands back to effect a release. Circle the hands for the double body punch to the floating rib area. Slide in, execute the same movement, and follow with a front thrust ball kick to the sternum area. Finish attacker off with a left side thrust kick with the heel or side of the foot. And cover. Defense against a grab, helping hand. As your attacker grabs and steps in with a punch, step away and execute a right outward block. Follow with a right knife hand strike to the side of the jaw or neck area. Continue the movement and execute a left spinning elbow to the jaw or neck area. Take attacker down using a wrist lock or armbar. And control attacker with a wrist lock as it come along. As your attacker steps in, step away and execute a right outward block. Control attacker with your left hand by pinning his hand to your body and follow with a right knife hand strike to the jaw or neck area. Slide the right hand down as you spin. Hold on to his right hand to control him. Execute a left roundhouse elbow to the throat or jaw area. Turn and take attacker down with an armbar or wrist lock. Slide in, grab attacker's thumb and elbow. Bend his arm and lift attacker using the leverage of the wrist lock. This is known as a come along. Defense against a grab, cyclone. As your attacker steps in for a double lapel grab, pin his hand with your left hand and execute a right vertical punch to the solar plexus. Grab his right wrist with both your hands. Turn and execute an arm break over your shoulder. Continue your turn and use the arm bar to effect a throw. As your attacker steps in for the grab, execute a right vertical punch to the solar plexus area and pin his arm to your body using your left hand. Grab his hand with both your hands. Make sure that you have a hold of his thumb. Spin, bring his arm down on your shoulder to effect an arm break. Note the position of his hand. Continue the turn and using the arm bar, drop down and effect a throw. Using a wrist lock, we control the opponent on the ground. Defense against a grab, circling snake. As your attacker steps in with a grab, execute a hammer fist to the groin. Slide your right leg over and hook up for a throw. Execute the throw and follow with a punch to the floating rib area. Still holding his arm, bring your right leg over the arm and under the head. Sit close to the body. Effect an arm break. And finish attacker off with a heel kick to the sternum. Execute a right hammer fist to the groin area. Slide in, grab his arm, and hook up his shoulder. Pull towards your left leg. Follow with a vertical punch to the floating rib area. Note that we still control his arm. Bring your leg over his shoulder, under his head, and position his hand for the arm break. Sit close to the body and using your upper thigh as a lever, effect an arm break. Place your foot on his throat as an optional choke. Follow with a downward heel kick to the sternum. Defense against a grab, pressing vice. As your attacker steps in for the grab, Execute a right knee to the groin. With your right leg, step behind your attacker and effect a reverse hip throw. Follow up with a downward elbow to the rib area. Follow with a left punch to the jaw. And using your body to pin attacker down, effect an arm break or arm lock. Execute a right knee to the groin. Note that you use your attacker to aid your balance. Bring your right leg through and hook up for a reverse hip throw. Bringing your whole body weight down, execute a right downward elbow strike. This strike should be done to the sternum or rib area. Follow with a punch to the jaw. Pin your attacker down using your body weight and effect an arm bar or lock. This can be used as a break. Note the position of the hands. The following sequences depict several multiple attack demonstrations. Every martial artist should keep in mind Professor Cerio's 5 basic principles of conduct: effort, etiquette, sincerity, character, and self-control.